In this video, I'll be doing a quick walkthrough of the EasyFs financial statements. I will not be covering it in detail as that will be covered or has been covered in the video training on our website. So if you need more detail, you can always go to the video training on our website and you can get that detail over there. So without delay, I'm just going to start the program up. And this is your first screen. So if you haven't licensed your program, this will be the first screen you'll see. You just need to paste your key here. Once you get a key and apply it, it will license it. If you haven't asked or request for a key, requested the key yet, you just hit the request key, save the request details and email that based on the instructions on the form that gets saved. Now we're going to get into the software here. Now as soon as you open it, this is what you would see. The buttons over here is to open or create one, or if you need to compact the database depending on its size, also back up your files onto a different drive, maybe a server drive if you need to. Alright, so I'm going to open a file here which I've just created. I've called it Walkthrough Proprietary Limited. This is the area where you create your entities, so you just enter it in there. That entity basically is to hold the data. And see where you'd import your trial balance. There's 3 steps. Follow the 3 steps, you can import your trial balance. Once again, all of this is covered in detail in the training videos. This is the main work area where you can classify your accounts and create your statements. Here is where you get the information onto the Word document. You can export to Word. What it does there is it exports to links that you would place on wherever you want on your Word document, and then you can update that Word document as often as you like for any changes that's happened. Here, for example, if you bring a new trial balance in and you update it, it'll update all the figures on your Word document. You don't need to go and relink it here. The only time you might have to relink something is if you create a new statement which you haven't put the link on the Word document. Alright, so that's basically that, and here's where you can actually import in account classifications. If you have classified accounts in another financial statement and you want to copy that classification into this particular financial job prepared, where the account number and the entity code given here, for example, is the same. This is the year-end functions, and also there is a link here to our website where the training is performed. As I mentioned previously, more detailed explanation as to how you go about using each of the functions is in our training video. And here, this is just a link to the data file, which is that file is by opening. That's where it's saved. It also, as you can see, the Word document is also saved there. Okay, so the rollover function is straightforward. You roll over the oldest trial balance, thereby enabling you to bring in the new trial balance or the latest trial balance, so that you can prepare the financials for the next financial year. Delete is if you are using a particular template and you want to get rid of all trial balances and journals, you just use this function to delete everything out, so that you have a fresh template to prepare the financial statements if you have already chosen this one as to be the format that you prefer. Now I'm just going to go into each of these just to show you what they are. So I've already showed you the setting up of the entity, which is straightforward. Applying the trial balance, that's the 3rd step. So after you bring the trial balance, this is how to vary it. You can do some rounding, and you can apply it for the periods. If you're currently prior, you apply your 1, and you can select which entities and then hit the apply button. Pretty straightforward. Here's where you do the classifications. There are 10 groups that you can use. Creating of the groups by level, you can see each of the levels which we created. So that's group level 1, group level 2, 3, 4. I'll just show you here. The first 4 levels have been used to create your financial statements, excluding the cash flow. Cash flow is using the balance 3 classification groups. That's because the cash flow figures are impacted by cash flow or journals which you can pass. So that's why those have been moved separately. They would have and they'll also have a separate grouping structure. So I'll just go into the cash flow groupings. We've started off with the P&L and balance sheet, but then it gets broken down into cash and cash equivalents, and then operating activities, financing activities, investing activities, and that's the different classification. And again, a little bit of further breakdown, and that's for the cash flow note, so that you can actually create a note which reconciles back. Now, once again, that's just basically accounting functions. You can just how you normally do it in your accounting system. It follows a very similar process to how you'd have done it using maybe an Excel previously. This follows the same principles, and you can create your own one if you're comfortable enough to create it. Now, so those are the four the other groups, as you can see. Now, as you can see, as I scroll through that, there's a lot of groups here, and this is not the main form which you use to classify. You also have the drill down functions like revenue. You can just drill it down to the further revenue. It highlights when there is further breakdown, to grayed out area if there is no more. Again, all of this is explained in the training videos. You can also export everything out as well, all the groups from here, so that can be done too. The main group classification area is this. It sort of gives you a better control, where you can just select each of the groups and click the arrow to bring them in. As you can see, there's currently this one particular one, which is a cash flow, which wasn't grouped into the main areas because it doesn't add much value, and there's no figures anyway, because the only adjustments affected the cash flow figures. So that's basically where you perform most of your groups and classification of accounts. And you can also export your groups out from here as well. When it comes to trial balance, here's where you pass all your adjusted entries. There are 4 types, again explained in the training video, and you can also export all the different types of journals entries that you passed, good audit trail there. You can also export the trial balances both in a detailed and a summary format, and also you can export the groups, which gets imported back in if you need to for a different set of financials. So that basically covers this area in terms of the walkthrough. Now I'm quickly going to go through the preparation. So these are the buttons which you'd use to prepare your financials. Here's where you can actually view it, the row formats, etc. And here's where you create some of the components that you would use here. Again, explained in detail. I'll just bring up maybe one statement so you can just quickly have a look at it. So that's a P&L, for example, and I'm just going to export that to see what the final statement would look like when it is generated on your final Word document. So it's just finished generating it, and there you can see that's the format that it will look like when you actually get it on your final statements. So again, all of that can be modified, adjusted to your liking. I'm not going to go into detail here. So that's basically it. Again, you can export the statement into Excel, and also you can export the links as to where they're linking. So as you can see, as you click on this, you can see the linkings here. So all of that's explained more in the training videos. Now I'm not going to go into too much more here. So that's this area, and the grouping area is the most used areas when you are creating a statement. So that's basically it. Here's where you would export your links onto a Word document, which you can copy and paste it onto your actual financial statements on Word. And here's where you can actually update it as many times as you like. Now here is when I'm just going into the export feature. You can export graphical presentations and the word fields, note numbering, and any of the statements. This particular one has got 42 table information, including the main P&L balance sheet, equity statements, cash flows. So there's 2 equity statements here, the horizontal and the vertical. You can pick which format you like, or create a new format if you don't like either one of them. So that's there. So this is where you update the Word document. You just open the file and you say update, it will update it. You can also check the Word format for how much of it is linked with the database you're using, or whether anything needs to be linked further. You generally, once you create your template, you don't need to actually check that, but the only time you check it is if you've maybe added any newer statements, for example, or if you're using a template, a Word template which wasn't designed specifically for the database that you're using. As you can create many templates and keep them separate and use them for different purposes. So here I explained how you'd actually can import in a particular grouping and then apply it. Year-end rollover, pretty straightforward. You press a button, it'll roll it over. Just a word of caution, it does it so quickly that it may seem like it didn't do it, but it has actually done it. This takes a few seconds to roll it over, which can give you the illusion that it hasn't actually run it. So if you feel it has run it, make sure you come and check the accounts grouping area and see that whether the figures have actually rolled over before you run it again. If you run it twice, it'll roll it over twice, removing 2 of the trial balances, and journal entries and adjustments would also have been rolled forward. So just bear that in mind. You can delete the trial balances and journals and use it as a blank template, and import in trial balances for a different set of financials if you're preparing, for example. Once again, it runs pretty quickly. Make sure that you don't keep on running it because it has already done the function. This particular button here would take you to the training videos on the website, like I mentioned before. More detail is contained there. This FS data folder basically takes you to where the data is normally held. Now, for example, every time you open a financial statements, the system creates a new folder for it to hold all the information, all your exports, all your import of information takes place through that one folder which it tries to maintain there. So, and that's the best place to maintain it, one folder for a particular financial statements. And likewise, if you create a new financial statement, you create a new folder for that financial statements, and it holds all the data in that particular area. So I'll just show you now this particular folder. As soon as you open it, it's created that folder under the templates area, and if I go back to the templates area, you can see all the different templates which we have been using throughout our demonstration and training programs. So that's a quick way to get to where you're having here. So you can have the imports area where if you had tried to import a trial balance, that's where it will be stored. It's a good clean way to keep everything together as well. So that's the overview. I hope you enjoyed the overview. And like I said before, if you need more detail, visit our training videos. And if you can't find the answer you're looking for, you can always email us, and we'll look to include maybe a presentation on that aspect in our more frequently asked questions video section, just to address if it's a particular item. And that's basically it. So it's a straightforward system, quick and easy to use. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you need more information, just visit the training video. Thank you for listening. Bye.